do a PTR review with yours truly, Mr. Mike, for the YouTube, and for anybody in the Twitch chat who wants to offer their opinion on stuff. I'll read some comments, and then I'll clip this, and this will go on YouTube. So, Justice came out today, and there's some general stuff here, but really interesting things. I went over it right before it came out, and then I saw Neo talk about it on Dondo and all of those kind of things. And there's some really weird things. So let's aside bug fixes. Fine, no problem. We got bug fixes. We always need bug fixes. So this is what they did to the items. Vampiric Potion now grants +6 damage and 50% lifesteal for 20 seconds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. And they added a persistent visual effect so you can see what it is. They took out the lightning shield because demon hunters would go creep, get a lightning shield charge, and then run it into a human gold mine expansion and just destroy everything. So you're going to get the vampiric potion, and the same thing is going to happen. And the demon hunter is going to retain life by killing everything and sustain his ability to fight longer in that. And that 20 seconds is huge. Like if it was a 50% lifesteal for 7 seconds, sure, maybe. I don't know how valuable that would actually be as an item drop. But 20 seconds at 50% lifesteal, that's a broken item. And that's either going to be changed or it's not going to pass. Ruin of Lesser Healing, heal from 125 to 75. This is interesting, but I don't think it's really needed. Seems like just let's make a random item for the sake of putting a random item in. +3 cold cost. It's gold cost, okay. +3 gold cost from 150 to 125 for the Ring of Protection. So they're matching the cost on the +3 and the +4 type of thing. Fine, makes sense. This is broken. This is going to be a problem. I don't even care. Apparently you can dispel it on the PTR, but it doesn't matter. Orb of Fire is replaced with Orb of Slow. I mean, who's drinking over there at this place? Like, do they sit in a room, order 10 pizzas, have 5 guys sitting there and be like, hey, what are we going to shoot darts at on the wall today? And decide to change with something random that makes no sense. Orb of Slow has a 30% chance to proc on units and a 15% chance to proc on heroes. Applies a 25% attack speed and 55% movement speed slow to the target for 10 seconds and 5 seconds, depending if it's a unit or a hero. So not only does it affect attack speed, it also affects movement speed. So does the slow going to stack with Sork slow? Either way, people were asking for a change or some kind of buff or alternative for the Orb of Fire. This makes no sense. And like Yoda saying, human already has slow. They got slow with the Sorks, and they got polymorph, which is not it's like a hex, but it's you can lock a unit in place and they can't do anything, turn into a sheep. And now you can polymorph a hero, right? So we all thought that was broken. I thought that was broken. But how far do humans get that they actually get to use it and it doesn't last that long? Fine, that passed a long time ago. This is stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. What they should have done is made Orb of Fire kind of similar to Orb of Venom. And maybe in terms of damage, and maybe in terms of what it does, the damage it stacks. So let's say if you have 3 human heroes with an orb, that the damage, like Orb of Venom for Night Elf, stack. So, but like give it a, you would have to compare the percentages and the damages from both orbs, but give it like a splash damage that stacks and does the same effect and prevents healing, not just on undead, but everybody. Something like that. Okay? I think damage would be nice for the orb. And make all the orbs the same price. This is a no for me. You might as well put the Orb of Frost back in the game and make it drop. So, and your orb's only available at tier 3, and how effective is this going to be anyways when you have Sorks out at tier 2? Like, it's just strange. It's a strange change. Anyways, moving on. Blood Mage Banish cooldown increased from 000 to 420, which because it didn't exist before. Well, rip human gonna be night elves for days. Blood Mage, we all agree that Pally Rifles needs a nerf, right? And the best way to do it is apparently doing it through the heroes. I think this is fine. I think that's fine. 4-second cooldown, 2-second cooldown, and then when you get level 3, it's a 0-second cooldown. Perfectly fine. Paladin Holy Light cooldown increased from 555 to 666. Thinking of it, like, can you do 765? Can you do 867? I think that'd be too much. This is a good starting place. Let's go with that. And if flying machine movements be reduced from 400 to 375. I think this is kind of weird, but I think this really depends on other changes that they did, so we'll come back to that. Orc reverted orb of lightning cost increase, so it went back to 375 to 325. Again, I think all orbs should cost the same, but if you're not buffing the human orb, and well, now they're changing it completely, doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, it's nice to have an extra second to nuke a seagull here. It creates a solid window to kill a unit, but still also allows the human to micro and heal it. Well, like, how many players on ladder are doing Pally Rifle and getting like a 200 MMR boost just from that? If you do it really well, like, you're not going to win. You're going to climb up really fast. And we've had orcs that have had to adapt. And Carson did, theory craft on it, and I'll give him my 2 cents on that. And it's a pain, right? It's a pain. Anyways, okay, so we're back. Torrent cost increased from 280 gold to 380 lumber to 100 lumber. This is not good. I know they kept it because they added resistance skin, but it's very costly in gold for orc at later levels. You're not going to see Tauren play. Like, very rarely. This is not good change. Sentry Ward health reduced from 200 to 50. Stasis Ward health reduced from 100 to 25. Stasis Ward detonation radius reduced from 400 to 350. And Stasis Ward stun duration reduced from 6 to 4. Healing Ward area effect reduced from 500 to 450. And it also affects the item that they put. I understand the reasoning behind this, because it no longer magic cannot be controlled by magic or dispelled, so it has to be physically attacked. However, witch doctors don't get played a lot. I'm the only idiot, or one of the only idiots, that plays witch doctors. It's just too drastic. It's not good. You're not going to get Tauren. Witch doctors will be a little bit useless again, and this is not good. So they're going to have to tweak something. Great Hall build time reduced from 140 to 135. They had it at 125. They put it to 135. Fine. So basically, Orc got... Anyways, we'll see the other changes they made too at the bottom. And Night Elf. Reverted Demon Hunter Mana Burn change. Because they did too much. They went from 300 to 250, and I said if you're going to make a change with the Demon Hunter range, it should be 290. You call it a day and see what happens. Wisp Lumber gather rate reduced from 8 to 7. Anything is too much, Mr. Payne, representing the Night Elves. I disagree. I think it should be it should be changed a little bit. Also, keeping in mind that Lich range got reduced, right? So something like that. Moonstone duration increased from 30 to 35 seconds. Yeah, Mana Burn's toxic. Moonstone duration increased from 30 to 35. Again, I think the 45, I was like, yeah, it's a bit long, but okay. I think this is okay. We'll see. Keeper of the growth strength increased. The gain increased from 1.8 to 2. That's for every level. This is a good change. I mean, it may not seem a lot, but it'll add up. Tree and attack speed reduced from 1.75 to 1.65. I don't know where they're getting the numbers and why this is an issue, but I don't necessarily think that's necessary. Chimera movement speed increased from 270 to 290. I guess this isn't in line with the demolishers and the range attack speed increase, but I don't think anybody was asking for this. I don't think this is a good change, and there's some other reasons why we'll get there. Moonglaze upgrade now changes Huntress armor type to heavy and added a persistent visual effect. I tried to get into the PTR and check it out, but the PTR wouldn't let me load any games, so that was unfortunate. This is really strange, and I don't know where this is coming from. Like, I'm all for Huntresses being used late game. I'm all for Grunts being used late game, as long because Ghouls can. They have Ghoul Frenzy, right? Archers can be used from tier 1 to tier 3 because they have so many upgrades. I think this changes things too much. And I all I have in my mind is Penguin going tier 1, maybe upgrading, maybe teching just to get the upgrade of from where was it? Where's the upgrade from? The Moonglaze upgrade, yeah, the Moonglaze upgrade, and getting armor type to heavy and just going with his panda and attacking people with his hunts. Like, it's on tier 2 exactly. It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. But Night Elf needed another viable frontliner badly. Bear was the only option. Looking forward to seeing this Hunter's change in action. I don't disagree with you. I think that's a good point. I just think that changing their armor is a big deal. Now, maybe when they get the Moonglaze upgrade, they get some kind of reduction against piercing, or maybe they get extra life. I would be okay with that. But I think changing their armor is a big deal because you naturally, let's say you're facing Orc and he goes barracks and Spirit Lodge and he's getting headhunters, and you're hunts, and then you go into tier 2 and all of a sudden the hunter says their armor changes to heavy. Like, that's a big deal. Like, the Orc has to switch their whole entire tech over with all those upgrades because now they become useless and you just upgraded them, right? So they're not going tier 3 and getting berserkers. They're opening with headhunters and changing once they all die off because it's really weird. They would just melt. The headhunters would just melt. The Hunter stage won't go through. Yeah, I don't think it'll go through. Hunter's Hall minus wood. This is bonkers. It's totally bonkers. These guys are just throwing darts at a wall and trying to pick. Doesn't make any sense to me. Fairy Mana Flare is now able to be toggled off before the full duration. I'm trying to think. Upgrades that change armor type are bad in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We'll see if this actually makes a big difference. It might. Or it might be a good change. And then Vorpal Blades upgrade now gives an additional 10 damage on glaives. I like this. I like this. I think the idea was like to give Night Elves more tier 1, tier 2 options, right? I love glaives. I love using them. I think the Vorpal Blades is cool. I don't know if this is too much extra damage. You know? We'll go through what is the counter to heavy armor type? Is it magic damage? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody wants to pull that up and link it to me. I'll show everybody. Undead, reverted spike carapace change. Like, yeah, I'm okay with that, but now I'm looking at all the changes that they did, and it's like there's like nothing here for undead. Reverted tier 1 web upgrade. Yes, we all agree that shouldn't be on tier 1. The hunts could fight Pally Rifle. Well, they just nerf Pally Rifle, right? Like, that's the whole point. The world is healing. Reverted gargoyle ground damage change. So gargoyle movement speed reduced from 375 to 350, but then they increased the speed of chimeras. They'll still get caught, but then there's more to human stuff. Nerubian tower attack speed reduced from 1.3 to 1.15, and it was initially increased, so they made it a little bit slower. Wand of negation. I'll go back to it, soft ice cream. Wand of negation is now a single target spell that deals 200 damage to summon units. Still has 4 charges. I think this is really like I said before in the last PTR discussion that I put on the YouTube, this is a water elemental item. This is just to fight water elementals so that you don't lose your gold mine. For human, they made Holy Light cooldown increased from 555 to 666. Blood Mage Banish cooldown increased from 000 to 420. And they added Orb of Slow, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Performance issues. Here's the master change. So did some lighting, they did some map pool stuff. And we'll go through everything last time. Plus, you're going to see like a redaction on things. So Sentry Ward Vision reduced from 1600 to 1000. I didn't think this was necessary like last time. Healing Ward charges reduced from 3 to 2, which I found fine. Vampiric Potion added as level 2 charge drop. Vampiric Potion grants plus 6 damage and 50% lifesteal for 20 seconds. This is the new, and then they changed it, and it's just ridiculous. Rune of Lesser Healing is a level 2 power-up drop. Rune of Lesser Healing heals 75 health in an area around it. I don't think this was necessary. Ring of Protection plus 4 reduced to plus 3. I think that's a good change. Ring of Protection plus 3 gold cost. They matched it, so it's 125 now. And then we'll go over the last changes, because we did already. Backpack shop requirement removed for all races. Great change. Orb of Darkness will now spawn level 2 dark minions. Again, most people are just going to sell this, and are you going to get Orb of Darkness right away? Probably not. So are the minions going to be that useful? It's not fantastic. And Ancient Django of Endurance movement speed increase, so they increased the items here, and the Legion Doomhorn. I don't think this was necessary, but for some reason they want to do it. Here's the Orb of Fire again, changed to Orb of Slow, which is crazy, and it costs 325 gold, so they did increase the charge of it. Militia armor reduced from 4 to 3 like last time. I disagree with that. Flying Machine movement speed from 400 to 375. Flying machines are really good. I don't know if that was necessary, but maybe. I'm okay with the defend coming in cheaper and 50% reduction instead of 65%, because then humans can get it earlier. But we have to see it in action. And then Siphon mana range reduced from 600 to 500. Area effect reduced from 800 to 700. Here's the Banish. Here's the Holy Light. Slow duration reduced from 60 to 45 seconds, so they even made slower. Footman suck. Heal range increased from 250 to 350 on Priest. I think that's an interesting change. I think that's okay, because then your Priest can fight in the backline. Arcane Vault removed Dragon Hawks and Cloud upgrade, which is good. The requirement, that is. And visibility range 300 to 400 for Sorks, which is good, because you want to see... Yeah, Orb of Slow is ridiculous. I don't know who came up with that. Orc Mirror Image cooldown increased from 3 to 5 seconds. We all can agree that's fine. Tauren now have resistant skin by default, and they increased the costs, which we just talked about, which is ridiculous. So they're never going to get Tauren anyways. So forget the resistant skin, it means nothing. Lightning Orb damage against summons increased from 150 to 300, so they still kept the damage against summons, which is a bit crazy, but still. Envenoming Spears damage they kept. Wind Rider level reduced, so they're going to give less experience. We went over all the stasis and the wards. They've nerfed them, and the heal wards, and we want to see more Witch Doctors, and this is just ridiculous. And then the Great Hall build time reduced from 140 to 35. So really, Orc got this, and they got this. The rest is nothing. Nothing. Wist lumber gather rate reduced from 8 to 7. Nature's Blessing lumber cost reduced from 200 to 175. Hunter's Hall reduced the cost lumber from 180 like last time. And yeah, it's, you know, I'm okay with this, but they're changing so many things. We went over all this. I think the Ultravision research time needs to stay the same. I'm okay with the Moonstone. Orb of Venom reduction and tick, fine. Yeah, Alpha is starved for lumber, but they're reducing the lumber requirements on the main buildings at the beginning, which I think balances out. So we'll find out. Mountain Giant food costs reduced from 7 to 6. Again, nobody was asking for that. Keeper of the Grove, we talked about. That's a good change. The Tree and Attack is a change we didn't ask for. The Chimera movement speed increase is weird. Moonglave's upgrade now changes Huntress armor type to heavy, like we just said. It's really weird. I think that's not going to go through. It sounds broken. These we just covered. Wand of Negation charges were increased from 2 to 4. And now it's a single target. Basically what I said was it's going to target water elementals. The Ritual Dagger is interesting because it's 2 charges to 1. It's cheaper and it gives more healing. I'm fine with this. I think it's good because you end up selling the second charge most of the time. Frost Nova reduced from 800 to 700. That's a good change. Burrow research time reduced 45 to 35 seconds. That's a good change. Anti-magic shield blocked reduced from 420 to 300. I like it. Anti-magic shield, but I think maybe a little bit strong, and you get it a lot in undead versus undead. And then they showed you what they did and didn't do. Like this is better, right? So the attack speed reduced from 1.3 to 1 second, but then they're like, it's a bit too much. Let's do 1.15. Again, just playing with numbers. I don't think they needed to do this at all. I still stand by what I said about towers, like main towers, like spirit towers, guard towers, ancient protectors, and orc towers should only be available in tier 2. They should not be available in tier 1. Arcane towers should be available in tier 1. And Rubian should be available in tier 1. Nothing else. Right? Like orc have burrows. It's just not necessary. And Night Elf has Moonwells and their buildings can attack you. So it would get rid of the tier 1 rush. Unless human wants to do it with arcanes, but it wouldn't be as strong. That's what I think. Carry on Swarm level 2 damage increased from 125 to 325. And they kept that, and Gargoyle move speed was reduced. Rain of Fire range was increased. Dark Ranger drain life can now transfer. I'm surprised that this hasn't been addressed because it can transfer life, get coiled, and still transfer life. It's like a never-ending cycle of give me life. And then there was a bunch of stuff on the treants and stuff. We're not going through this. I think it was boring as hell, and we already did it. But, you know, state your questions or opinions if you would like. But I think there's a lot of weird things in here. I think Orc gets screwed. I think the nerfing to Pally Rifle was necessary. I don't know if it's this that we're seeing, or maybe smaller changes. I know you have thoughts, Payne. That's why you can provide your thoughts. I mean, you know, the Huntress armor type heavy upgrade is weird. It's not smart. It's going to change a lot of things. Yeah, I like to have Witch Doctors more viable. I don't think all this is really necessary. It's a bit strange to me. The problem here with the orc changes is that this is a nerf, which is a good nerf. This is a buff. It's a good buff. But the cost of Tauren are already too much for orc. And they're already starved for gold late game and usually end up with extra lumber. You're not going to see them. You're going to see less of them. You might see one of them. You're never going to really get it. Like, that's a big increase. Regardless of resistant skin. Regardless. You're not going to see them. It's going to be the same thing. And the Venom Spears, like I said, should benefit Berserkers as well. And the Lightning Orb is a huge buff. I think that's a bit too much, but it's a huge buff. And with the resistant skin, it's nice because they won't be automatically removed from the fight, but it's super costly. Well, like against Pally Rifle, like I know we go back to the Carson thing about his theory craft about Pally Rifle, and he'll go Farseer, Panda, Firelord, Headhunters, and then go late game Tauren against them. I think Tauren still melt. Right? If you're gonna still do it, you're still gonna get one. You're not gonna be able to sustain that long. It's not a good change. I mean, the resistance to skin's fine, but the cost is still too much. Yeah, it doesn't change the tech timing, so it makes no difference. It makes no difference. And Orc has more wood at tier 2 and tier 3. I agree. I think the gold. I'd much prefer to see a lumber cost increase than a gold cost. I'd rather see like 235 and 125 or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens. I'm a bit concerned. The 10 plus damage thing on the hunt seems the same. Well, this one is for the Vorpal Blades, right? And I wish I can... I'll pull it up. It's for the glaives, right? So if we can make it bigger. So Vorpal Blades is a passive and increases the speed of glaives launched by the glaive thrower and allows them to attack trees as well. But this time's also adding 10 plus damage. Glaive throws. So, I mean, it might be good. That might be good. Yeah, the Huntress heavy armor won't happen. It's not too bright. I've tried to get it. Sometimes you just don't have the money for it. So maybe it just should be cheaper, or they should come with it. Huntress heavy armor needs to happen in your main elf. I was just talking about you before, and you're just gonna come out with your freaking panda and your huntresses and do that all game. And Mr. Winner won't have a prayer. He'll lose again. I have like 7 hunt strats. It's insane. Well, you're holding out on us? Can I get those into a document so I can put them together? Because I'm trying to put together a Warcraft build document thing, especially for new players and advanced stuff. They're secret until they buff hunts. Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, everybody's given their opinions on it. I don't think it's a good change at all. I think if you're gonna upgrade them, you're gonna upgrade maybe their life a little bit, or maybe give them like a piercing resistance or something. You know, Vorpal Blades. I mean, what's the cost of it? Is it really? No, it's not 50/50. What am I looking at? It costs 210 gold and 65 lumber. It's too expensive. Give a Loon Grace to hunts? Would that break them? I don't know. You know, make this 125 and 50 lumber or something. I used it today. Like glaives. I used glaives today. I've been playing all the races. I went Dark Ranger, Blood Mage, Rifle with, no, sorry. That's the wrong game. I played against a, my God, how am I forgetting? Is it an undead player? No, it was a night elf. It was a night elf player. I think it was a night elf mirror. Yeah, it was night elf mirror. And I went Keeper, Firelord, and Naga. And I went Mass Archers and the Mixed Talons, and I got Glaive Throwers. And he went Bears and Dryads. And I won. It was E-Worm. It was E-Worm. No. That was the Dark Ranger game. E-Worm was the Dark Ranger game. Hunt Glaive versus Archer Talon. Well, I had Archer Talon Glaives. That's what I did with Keeper. So, anyways. Answer the call to arms tonight. In the chaos we find.